Welcome to the Haulynx ELD tutorial. Today we're going to look at basic functionality of the ELD, and hopefully along the way we can answer some of the frequently asked questions of our users. So here we have the login screen. You can select language, either English or Spanish. So to be able to log in, you need your email and password chosen during sign up, or if your administrator created the account. If you forgot your password, here at the bottom, you can select Forgot Password. Just enter your email address. And here we have, you press Send, and you'll receive an email on this email address. And from there, you can change the password. Here we also have truck unit ID and vehicle VIN number. This is only really required to be inputted once, and after that, it'll already be pre-filled. After logging in, here we have at the bottom our four main tabs of the application. We have Home, Logs, Loads, or Settings. Let's look at Home first. On this tab, we have the four main clocks to show how many hours you have. So we have the 8 hours of the break, the 11 hours of driving, the 14 hours on duty, and the 60 or 70 hour clock. Here at the top, we have the four main statuses: on duty, driving, sleeper berth, off duty. Whichever's white here means the current status selected right now. So we have sleeper berth selected. To change your status, you select whichever status you want to go to. So if you want to change it to off duty, you select off duty and you're taken to the screen. If you want to select driving, just tap driving here, go back to the screen. Or on duty, same thing. Here we have this screen. This page serves as a sort of confirmation screen for the status you chose to change it to, but you can also change it from here too if you chose one by mistake. So we have on duty here. Yard moves is to be able to move within the yard and not be switched to driving automatically. We have driving, we have sleeper berth, we have off duty too with personal conveyance feature. That's to be able to move off duty without being switched to driving. So let's put on duty here with no yard moves. Here we have the location. It's already pre-filled, but you can choose manual. You can change it. You also have power unit ID. It'll display the power unit that you have chosen during the login screen. Here we have notes. You can put remark for the specific status that you're choosing. You can put say fuel. We also have this neat feature. We have common duty actions where you can choose it just without being able to type it. Just vehicle inspection, and then you have it right here. The important thing about this is that you have to tap here at this save. If not, otherwise you'll still be set at the previous status that you had left. So if you put on duty, you have to tap save and you'll be switched here as you see reflected the new status. Also on the home tab, we have a load me functionality. The point of this is to be able to request a load through our load distribution software. So tap here, load me. Here you choose your current status. So what you're doing is you're updating whether you're loaded or unloaded currently. So if you're loaded, you choose loaded, and you want to request to be loaded after your drop-off location. You choose where you're going to be dropping off, say California, East Los Angeles, on this date at this time. You also can confirm the equipment type or choose a different one. So but let's say you choose reefer and you choose confirm status. So what that means is that the system will look for a load, or start looking for a load once you confirm the status to be able to pick up after you deliver your current load. You can also choose unloaded. Say you're unloaded in LA, or you want to choose some other city where you want to be loaded at, and to be able to look after. So if it says look after, you choose the current time right now, the system will look for a load immediately. Or you can, if you're on doing your 34-hour reset, just put it 2 days after and just confirm your status. So here it says thank you, we'll notify you as soon as we have a load offer. The next tab is the logs. Here I can view the 8 days back. I can see a summary, the amount of time driven for each day and being on duty. I can select the particular day to see the particular entries for that day. So I can see all my entries here, which status it is, the time, the duration, and then the location. I also have a summary here of all my statuses, how much time I spent for each status on that day. The total miles driven, it says 0, even though we see a little bit of driving here, but that's just my particular log, but it will display all the total miles driven. I also have power unit here. So here we have the graph as we're used to seeing it in paper logs. We have 3 buttons here: add past duty status, send logs, certify logs. Add past duty status, that's basically to be able to split a current entry. So say I have this off duty here for 4 hours. I want to split it to an hour of on duty and 3 hours of off duty, because that was to reflect a accurate occurrence. So say I was loading and during that time and I forgot to switch it and I want to split that status, I'm going to choose 5 a.m. because that's no. Actually, I'm going to choose 7. My bad. So we choose 7 here. 7 a.m. on duty. Then save. If we see here, that reflects my accurate status. So I split that 3 hours of off duty to, 4 hours of off duty, to reflect the 3 hours and then 1 hour of on duty here. To be able to edit a particular entry, say for instance I want to edit this on duty because it was off duty, I tap on what I want to edit, then tap edit again, and I choose it. So if I want to choose off duty for that edit, and then I erase this note here and save. It's going to ask me for the reason to change. So reason for change is because forgot to change. And it will save my status and will show I edited, and I can continue. So that's add past duty status. The other button here that shows is the send logs button. Just tap here. So for this is when there's a roadside inspection and you need to send the logs because the officer requested you to send them the logs. Here you can send them. So we have send logs via email and then send logs via web service. So send logs via email, choose it, you enter a comment. So usually the officer will give you a certain code. Just choose the code. And then here it says enter email address of additional recipient. That's optional. You have to do that. Just tap send after that and logs will be sent during that time to that email, not to the email of FDOT. And now here we also have web service to send them via web services. Usually that's the most reliable for our purposes. And so you choose the code that the officer will give you. Here you also have that optional add email address recipient, but you don't have to choose that. So now you send those logs via web services. Press send, it says log sent, and the officer will receive the logs. So that sends all 8 days right there. We also have the third button, which is certified logs. So here we have the point of the certified logs is a sort of saying all your records are true. It's a sort of signing, like in the paper logs you used to sign. Here we have a certified log. So if I want to certify that, here it says I hereby certify that my data entries and my record duty status for this 24-hour period are true and correct. So if I'm ready to agree, I put agree, or not ready. So I put agree, and that means that it shows right here the check that that's certified. So if I want to certify this too, certify. Next tab is the loads tab. Here you can input shipping document information and trailer number information as required by FMCSA for your log. So if you want to add a new load here, new load information, just add your BOL number. Any number that points to your document that you were given is fine. Here you can choose the trailer that you have right now. You can choose here the pickup city where you picked it up. And your drop-off location for that load. The zip code. And the zip code for LA. I don't know the zip code, but I'm just going to choose that. And then you choose the pickup date and the pickup time and the drop-off time. You can just change it to the specific of your load, and then you save that information. So that gets associated with your logs, and you're required to input this every time you load. You don't have to do it for when you're loading at the specific time, but you have to do it for that day. So if you loaded 3 hours ago, you can still input that information, but you have to put the load information for your logs as required by FMCSA. The next tab is the settings tab. So the settings tab basically shows your name, what you have logged in, which carrier you're logged into, and also you can change the English or Spanish option to here again, same as the login. You can also edit your brightness here. I'm not sure if you can see on the screen here, but you can just scroll depending on the time of day you're at. So we also have here 5 buttons. Most likely yours will have 4, depending on which version app you have, but we have log out here. So basically this will log you out and go back to the login screen that we saw earlier. Here, report issue, you can report any bug or malfunction that you see, and we're able to help you. So say that time's not working, you can put time is not working, something you're experiencing, and we will receive an email of your issue, and we'll know and we'll contact you. You can also update app here. So just press if you think if you don't have the latest version, if some tech of our company tells you you don't have the latest version, you can check here. But mine's up to date right now, but it will take you to the update screen. We also have admin button and restart. For the admin here, you'll see a little bit more settings for me because this is for debugging purposes for ours. But here you'll see this OBD2 device. So if you have connected an OBD2 device, you can disconnect here, or you can connect the device itself through here. You can also here have the restart button. Just tap restart and it will restart the whole application. And this is just in case we're debugging you for any particular reason. So you have the admin here. We have disconnect OBD2 device. As we saw, we also have the connect the device. So if you're having issues with connecting your device or that it's not being connected, you can go here and just select which pin you have depending on the truck. Usually our tech person helping you out will know which pin you have depending on the truck. Just choose this and it will try to connect. So that's pretty much it in terms of the functionality of the ELD. As you saw, we saw all these three tabs. We saw Home tab, we saw the Logs, we saw the Loads tab, we also saw Settings. The most important tabs really at the end of the day is the home screen, which you can see all your hours, again, summarizing, and you can change your status here. You can also do the load me, as we saw, but that's optional. That's besides your log, what you're required for DOT. Here we also saw the logs tab then, where you can view your 8 days back. You can see the entries. You can break entries into different statuses. You can also edit the log, as we saw. We can send the logs. We saw certification. This tab is also very important to add your load information. And here the settings, just for mostly debugging purposes or to be able to log out. So that's pretty much it. Thanks.